Need to order. I need a mover and a seconder to go into closed session. Councilor McHugh and Councilor O'Neill. All in favor? Carry on. I should ask any pecuniary interest before we leave. Any pecuniary interest by anybody? Thank you. Declare that closed. Thank you. We got, yeah, what have I done here? I've lost my page already. Okay, we got the Indigenous
begin this
Land
meeting
Acknowledgement and the National Anthem, so please stand. Thank you.
We begin this meeting by acknowledging that Quinte West is on Indigenous land that has been inhabited by Indigenous peoples from the beginning. We thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, there have been Indigenous peoples who have been the stewards of this place. In particular, we acknowledge the traditional territories of the Anishinaabeg, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte First Nation. This territory is covered by numerous treaties. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize the contribution of the Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples have made, both in shaping and strengthening this community in particular, and our province and country as a whole. This acknowledgement serves as recognition of the contributions and historical significance of Indigenous peoples across Turtle Island and demonstrates our collective commitment to meet the promises and address the challenges of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission within our community.
Continuously rise.
One of the things that I did learn over my career in the insurance world is that every time that you learned an issue or a topic, the very next day it changed. Nothing stays the same. Just like City Hall, it never stays the same, which is why it was so interesting. So for any young people out there, if you're looking for a good career where you get, most of the time you get weekends off, not always. Great benefits. Yes, come apply to a municipality such as the City of Quinte West, and you can also look to the insurance industry. Both organizations are starving for talented people. Thanks.
Congratulations. It's been a pleasure to know you. Seeing as you're retired, we'll still have to put up with you. That's
For a little while.
It's okay. I also want to acknowledge tonight that we have a new detachment commander with us. Christy McNaught, inspector, right? I get the right word? Am I okay with Yeah, but Inspector?
Inspector McNaughton, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
great.
thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And I was on the interview team, so I know there was a lot of competition. It was strong, it was powerful, and yeah, you did well. You did extremely well, and we're proud to have you. I'm not a fan of some of the things that I have to deal with, but I won't mention them all here tonight. But the OPP needs to update their book. That's my opinion. That's my opinion, but anyways, you've got a lot of experience. Director Grimman can certainly help you on that road,
Thank you very much.
but she's really pleased to be here, and we're glad that she's here, and she doesn't have to, yeah. Anyways, thank you very much, and congratulations. I already told you, the only thing after I get done talking you have to remember is Quinte West is...
Is the best,
Thank
yes.
you. That's right. Thank you. That's
Thank
it.
you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, and congratulations. And again, to Councillor Quinte, a career goes fast, doesn't it?
It sure does.
It does.
Lots of challenges, lots of great people to work with, helping lots of community members all throughout the Quinte region with their insurance headaches. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I'm human just like anybody else is, but I had a great team to work with, which was encouraging. Just like working with our management team and our city staff. It's very fulfilling when you work with a great team.
Okay, I'm going to, any councillors with any announcements tonight or things you want to comment on? Councillor Reid, go right ahead.
Thank you. I would just like to mention that Quinte West Tourism and Events Coordinators have 4 ward parties. The first ward party this year is happening in Frankfurt. It's Saturday, June 7th at Frankfurt Arena. We have a little bit of work being done on the bridge, so the movie night, the outside movie night, will be held at the Frankfurt Arena this time, and they have a teddy bear picnic theme. So bring your favorite stuffies. If your favorite stuffy is injured or has a hole, there are stuffy doctors there that will sew them back up, providing it's not a big serious repair that needs to be made. And you enter for a chance to win one of 2 very large teddy bears. So snacks and juice boxes are provided. The movie at dusk and activities beginning at 5:30. So hopefully lots of young people and their families will be able to join June 7th, this Saturday night at Frankfurt Arena. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Card?
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to announce that tomorrow at 2:45 p.m. on World Environmental Day will be the first ever Quinte West Environmental Stewardship Awards presentation to 1 individual and 1 business winner. There will be a ceremonial tree planted in each of the winners' honor, and if there is inclement weather, we will be having the ceremony in the council chambers. A very special event recognizing environmental stewardship contributions from community members and businesses. So anyone who'd like to take part in that, 2:45 tomorrow on World Environmental Day.
Right here.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else? Anyone else with some comments? Anyone? Questions? No? Well, if it does rain, it won't hurt CEO acting Angelo's here, but it might mess yours up. That's only, but we'll still survive. We'll still survive, so, yeah. Yes, it is. What kind of tree do we have planted, CAO?
A green or a red maple, Your Worship.
Thank you. And you want to just briefly explain to us how we may have acquired that tree, and or did we buy it, or did we happen to?
Your Worship, it wasn't one of those trees that were donated from Trees for Life or Highway to Heroes. We're still in the process of working through that.
Okay. Well, it's still a healthy tree, and it looks good. Nothing wrong with the red maple. It's a great tree. And it's one that you can identify very quickly, you know, that's, if you're not a, I guess, say, a timberjack or something, a red maple is easy to identify, so, yeah. Okay, we did mention Saturday and what's coming on this weekend. We have an open house in at Wooler at the old schoolhouse. That's happening on Saturday. And they're recognizing the plaque and going to put the plaque up, and then also talk about what they're doing to the building to make improvements. Also, Lower Trent Fish and Game Club Youth Day is on Saturday as well, and that starts at 9 o'clock, so that's a great, and then we have the Trenton Racket Club ribbon cutting is on Saturday as well, and I've got it down at 10 a.m. So, and I also have at the same time the Highway of Heroes ride, and that's leaving from the Operations Center on Saturday. So that's usually 1,000+ bikes, usually. So many veterans and many people who come to support the veterans and show their love and concern for those who were in, I guess you'd say, in battle and work to allow us to live the way we do. So that's on Saturday. That's what I've got. And then I've got the Bay of Quinte Relay for Life at Trenton High School on Saturday as well. So I hope that some of you have time to make it to various events on Saturday. So thank you. Okay, I'm good. All right, everybody else is good? Yeah, go ahead.
I'd be remiss to not congratulate one of our counselors. Recently, there was a regional pickleball contest, and Counselor O'Neill came third in the 3.0 level series and got the bronze medal. He and his partner, Carl Bowker, unfortunately beat myself and another individual. We're still friends, Dave, although I think you cheat. But it was congratulations, and certainly congratulations to the Quinte Pickleball Association for putting on such a tremendous tournament that they had. And there's going to be a lot more, Dave, so you be ready.
Congratulations, Councillor O'Neill. You were better at something than the other team, right? We'll say it's pickleball. Okay, anyone else? Okay, all right, well, let's go. Any disclosures of pecuniary interest? I did ask that before, but I'll make sure we declare that closed. Okay, minutes of the regular council meeting held on May the 21st, 2025. I need a mover and a seconder for that, please. Councillor Elliott moves, Councillor McHugh seconds. Comments or questions? All in favor? Thank you very much. And I guess so I should have said also included in that motion minutes of the closed session of council meeting held on May 21st. Mover and a seconder, good for that? Okay, we'll say we've done it then. Okay, we're now at presentations, delegations, and petitions, and Rebecca Cotter, Manager of Communications, Community Engagement, City of Quinte West, will address us. Council present the 2025 Community Safety and Wellbeing Report, co-authored in partnership with Loyalist College Center for Healthy Communities. Thank you. Welcome.
Just checking that this is on. Perfect. Good afternoon, Mayor, council members, colleagues, and viewers. I'm pleased to be here today to offer this presentation as an update on the city's ongoing community safety and well-being efforts, and to speak to the 2025 report that's included in the meeting agenda for today. I'm joined today by my Quinte West colleagues, Director Jacqueline Grimmin and Special Projects Coordinator Samantha Reed. And watching online are our colleagues from the Loyalist College Center for Healthy Communities, research team that partnered with the city to research and write this report. Kirsten Salisbury, Operations Manager, Clara Tuscon, Senior Research Specialist, and Research Associates Amanda Soames and Devin Howell. I'd like to extend my thanks to the research team for taking a lead role in conducting the consultations and gathering the insights that have helped inform the report that we're bringing forward today. On the screen in front of you is the agenda for today's presentation. I'll provide a brief background on the path that has led us to this report, as well as offer a summary of the report findings, resources, and next steps. In 2019, the province of Ontario introduced legislation under the Comprehensive Police Services Act, requiring municipalities to develop and maintain their own community safety and well-being, or CSWB plans. In 2020, the City of Quinte West convened a CSWB committee composed of city staff and community partners to undertake this work. The committee undertook extensive research and consultation to build the first plan that offered actionable efforts to make meaningful change in our community. In July 2021, the Council approved the city's first community safety and well-being plan. The city's 2021 through 2024 CSWB plan identified two key priority areas: affordable and appropriate housing and mental health and addiction. Under these two priority areas, the plan identified more than 50 initiatives and action items and established 3 committees that worked to enhance inter-organization collaboration and information sharing throughout the summer of 2024. In July of 2024, the city engaged Loyalist College's Centre for Healthy Communities, or CFHC, to undertake an evaluation of the city's first CSWB plan and to provide recommendations to strengthen the city's community safety and well-being efforts. As part of this work, the Centre for Healthy Communities team conducted a comprehensive literature review, an environmental scan, and in-person consultations with community partner organizations. The results of this work are presented in the full 2025 Quinte West Community Safety and Wellbeing report that's included with today's council agenda. The 2025 CSWB report offers an update on the current state of community safety and well-being in Quinte West and provides a roadmap that guides the development of the city's next community safety and well-being plan that will be dated 2026 through 2030. The report outlines several items: a summary of feedback on the city's first CSWB plan received through consultation with community partners, a broader framework for defining the understanding of community safety and well-being in our community, the opportunity to continue working with the Centre for Healthy Communities to develop a tracking and reporting tool referred to as the Quinte West Pulse Check, and a roadmap for aligning the city's next community safety and well-being plan with the next term of council, 2026 through 2030. In the slides that follow, I will briefly outline the content of these 4 areas. In Q3 and Q4 of 2024, in Q3 and Q4 of 2024, community safety and well-being partners participated in 15 semi-structured interviews and 4 focus groups to provide feedback on our first community safety and well-being plan. 44 partner agencies were invited to participate and 31 individuals were consulted. A number of key themes emerged from the feedback that was collected. Partners identified many great opportunities as well as areas for improvement. They valued the collaborative foundation that the first plan provided, especially the connections made between previously unlinked organizations in our community, and credited the city for fostering these connections. It was noted that the COVID-19 pandemic significantly disrupted early engagement in the plan. Many partners felt that the plan's initial scope was very ambitious and in some places lacked direction on some initiatives. Additionally, many partners experienced challenges with the limited timing and resources needed to deliver the plan's initiatives. And lastly, partners indicated and asked the city to focus on building upon our existing community safety and well-being strengths and coordinating efforts across neighboring municipalities to reduce duplication in service delivery and implement data-driven tracking processes. The themes identified through the consultations that were considered through the lens of CSWB best practices and academic research collected by this Centre for Healthy Communities team are identified through their literature review and environmental scan. These 2 resources are attached as appendices in the full report that's accompanied in today's agenda. The findings of this research have informed the development of a new CSWB framework for the city. And this framework is grounded in 6 principles: accessibility, awareness, education, collaboration, equity, safety, and well-being. The framework reflects shared community values and helps shape decisions that ensure the city and our community's CSWB actions are consistent, thoughtful, and inclusive. So by organizing our next plan around this framework and these principles, we will reach beyond the 2 pillars in the original plan. This broader approach will enable a more comprehensive and adaptable strategy to meet the community's needs on an ongoing basis. In order to prioritize the focus of our next community safety and well-being plan, deeper and more comprehensive data is needed. So over the next 18 months, the city will continue to work with the Centre for Healthy Communities through December of 2026 to undertake and develop the city's first community safety and well-being pulse check tool. The pulse check tool will provide a system for collecting and tracking data across all community safety and well-being pillars within the upcoming plan. In this partnership, Loyalist College Centre for Healthy Communities will lead the data collection and analysis process, and city staff will coordinate the Pulse Check dashboard as a web-based visualization tool to display the data that we collect. Once developed, the Pulse Check tool will serve as a resource for evaluating progress and identifying service gaps, generating results that will inform the priorities of our next community safety and well-being plan. So while we do this work over the next 18 months, the city will also continue to support, partner with, and deliver existing programs and services that align with our community safety and well-being priorities. These efforts, as listed on the slides in front of you, are described in much more detail in the report and continue to address the community priorities that we've set out for ourselves, including food security, housing, healthcare access, employment, financial support, and social inclusion. This slide shares the timeline for developing the Pulse Check tool and the city's next community safety and well-being plan. Following Council's support of the recommendation offered in today's agenda, staff and our CFHC colleagues will begin this summer to build out the Pulse Check project and commence partner consultations in the fall. Parallel to this work, we'll also be exploring platforms and technologies to support the dashboard tool development. Our 2026 deliverables will center on the collection and monitoring of that municipal partner and community data. And this data will be analyzed for trends and insights that will be compiled into the Pulse Check tool and inform the development of the 2026 through 2030 Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan. That plan will be reported to the next term of City Council in January of 2027. In order to proceed with this timeline, the recommendation put before Council today asks that Council approve a bylaw authorizing the Mayor and City Clerk to execute an agreement with Loyalist College's Centre for Healthy Communities for services related to the development and implementation of a Pulse Check resource. So that concludes my presentation. At this point, I will welcome any questions or feedback on the information that I've shared.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll open it up to questions. Anybody? Councillor Sharp, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you very much for the presentation and all the work over the years since the committee was formed and we were required to do it, and it's been so helpful. Mm-hmm. And the data, working with Loyalist College, will help a lot, you know, to go forward in the next plan. My question, when you had the list there, it had doctor recruitment. And I just want to understand, I know that's a healthy wellness part of our community, and we have our physician recruitment committee, just understanding why that's part of that objective in there or a priority with this committee, or this initiative. I see that listed.
Sure, thank you for the question. So through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Sharp. So doctor recruitment is one of 16 or more initiatives that the city is already in the pipeline with, that
Right.
is already seeing success and progress on. that has like values and priorities that are based in and that align with the principles and the academic findings of community safety and well-being. So the slide that I think you're referring to,
Right.
where I've itemized all
Quite a
of those
few there,
initiatives,
yes.
including doctor recruitment, is intended to indicate that the city will continue to do that work and continue to support all of those various projects and initiatives over the next 18 months as we work to develop the next community safety and well-being plan. So nothing as it relates to doctor recruitment or really anything else on that list is intended to change. That will maintain a status quo and a commitment to all of those initiatives. And that we would expect, I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but as we work with Loyalist College to develop the next plan, many of those same projects will continue to be supported because they support the pillars and the guiding principles of what we've set out for ourselves in the new framework that will inform the next plan.
And that's great. I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't duplication there.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Carr, sorry, I had my mic off.
That's okay. Thank you, Your Worship. So I just wanted to say I think it's a great first step towards the city's next CSWB plan. And as chair of the committee, I wanted to thank Loyalist again, the Center for Healthy Communities, for their tremendous work, and also that of Rebecca certainly contributed a lot to this report and facilitating this. I think it's a very strong roadmap toward our next plan, and specifically utilizing the data and analytics, I think, as well as community engagement, is a really big step. Supporting the pulse check tool, all of those data and analytics will really help, I think, guide the policy making and resource allocation, and some of those kind of hard recommendations. I think it will be extremely valuable. This feedback mechanism, yes, will be extremely valuable to both the city and community partners who I believe presumably would have access to the data as well and could also utilize.
That's correct. So through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Card, the vision for the Pulse Check tool is that it is a web-accessible, public-facing data visualization or dashboard that would be refreshed and populated once originally developed, so that the community can follow along over the 4 years of the next plan as we return to our community partners and continue to collect and update data to understand where progress is happening or where gaps exist and how we can work towards filling those gaps.
Yeah, having that organized collection system standardized, I think, is just, will pay so many dividends versus relying on anecdote or all the staff resources to collect or, information from the partners. This will be so much more valuable. And I did finally want to give a shout out to Chuck O'Malley, who way back nearly 2 years ago was instrumental in connecting myself and staff with the Healthy Communities Center. So I did want to give him a shout out. Of course, it's on the police board and the CSWB committee too. Thank you.
Is that all you want to say about it? Don't tell anything that's true. Okay. Thank you. I know him well. Anybody else? Any other comments? Anyone? Councillor Quinte?
So this organization, this Pulse plan, this is just trying to coordinate these various items in here, like you have on the list, work in Quinte Career Fair and the Quinte West Housing Action Plan. Like there's many different avenues. So you're just trying to coordinate data and or what was the other term used? Analytics, I guess, for a central place for information for various departments to come and access, or even members of the community to see how these different things are progressing forward. Is that exactly what you're trying to do here?
So through you, Mr. Chair, to Councillor Quinte, if I can offer some clarification
Yeah,
on
sure.
the Pulse Check tool. Yep, absolutely. So as I indicated, it is intended to be a public-facing web resource, a data visualization dashboard, where the public, internal staff departments, members of our community partners, external organizations, businesses for that matter, will be able to see how Quinte West and all of its community safety and well-being partners are approaching our community safety and well-being pillars and priorities. So within the fulsome report, there is a very comprehensive breakdown of what we've identified these pillars and priorities to be. I had a slide that indicated the 6 priorities, but within those 6 priorities, within those 6 pillars, there are priorities like employment and training, housing, physical health, mental health, social support and inclusion, youth engagement and development, and so on. So these are all of the data points that we would be looking to populate with information from our community partners that would help inform quantitatively how we are approaching work in each of these subject matter areas. So to give a very simplified example, if we have a local community organization that offers a meal program that, would fit into the pillar and the priority that aligns with food security, so we would be looking for quantitative data from that organization that allows us to understand how many customers are they serving? How many meals are they producing? What frequency are they offering this service? And so on. And we're amalgamating all of that data and representing it visually so that we can understand better whether there are gaps within the city's food security systems, for example. So that's just one micro example of all of the pillars and priorities across the community safety and well-being, I guess you could say, spectrum that we would be looking to undertake and acquire. It's quite a heavy lift to go back out to our community members and organizations to gather this information. The Center for Healthy Communities will assist us in doing a lot of that consultation and data collection. And we've also spoken already with our community partners to help us understand and alleviate any additional administrative burden on their part so that we can be gathering things like their annual reports, for example. Their any reports that they're issuing to other levels of government for any grants that they're receiving. So we expect, and we've heard, that a lot of this data exists. No one has yet really undertaken the effort to amalgamate it, to understand really what the picture is that we're painting, to create a data-informed direction for the next community safety and well-being priorities.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Rebecca. Now, I will let you know that my wife and O'Malley's are related, so Chuck is a relative of my wife. They both came over from Ireland, same boat, one-way ticket. Anyways, thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you for your time.
And Chuck has helped us a lot, but I don't want him to know that. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Riley Walters, data, I'm sorry, anybody else have any questions? I'm sorry, I should have, good, thank you. Okay, good. Riley Walters, Manager of Data and Asset Management, going to give us some information on all our assets and help us, collectively, right? You can introduce your staff with you and tell us all who helps you and all that good stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, hello everybody. I'm Riley in the Asset Management Group, and this is JC, our new Asset Management Analyst who started late last year. And I'm here today to talk about the development process and the results of our newest asset management plans being brought to Council today. The Government of Ontario first passed asset management regulation in 2017, and these plans represent the last phase of plan development. Going forward, staff will need to update the plans every 5 years and present an annual update to Council on the progress being made towards our asset management goals. In the old plans, staff would present what the infrastructure deficit is. However, under this new plan, we must lay out how we plan to eliminate the infrastructure deficit by either increasing funding or reducing the levels of service we provide. To help guide what levels of service we chose, the city created an asset management working group made up of 5 councillors and 7 city staff who are either subject matter experts or finance staff. The working group met 3 times throughout April and work together to decide on the service levels and funding for each of the plans you see on your screen. There are two main level of service categories: the quality of the assets and the scope of the assets. Quality service levels are what the working group focused on, and it speaks to the age or condition of the assets we provide. Scope service levels speak to the quantity or the size of the assets, and are driven by master plans or studies that the city has already completed. The city also did a asset management survey throughout the month of March, and we got over 200 responses. We asked the public which service areas are the most important to them, is their willingness to spend more to improve / maintain services, and how they viewed current conditions of city assets. Every time the working group began to discuss a new asset type, we would review the survey results first. Different asset types had either set levels of service or proposed levels of service. Complex assets, where the city had recommendations from specialized professional engineers, only had one option presented. This would be bridges, culverts, and stormwater ponds. However, other assets had 3 to 4 alternatives presented at different risk levels and spending levels for things like roads, playgrounds, water pipes, parking lots, and more. So, going into 2025, the City of Quinte West had a proposed capital spend of $47.6 million per year, but we only had funding for $29.4 million per year. This means we had an infrastructure deficit of $18.2 million accumulating each year. This plan must address that deficit and have a plan to eliminate it. And there were 3 main recommendations coming from the working group that altered our current service levels. The first recommendation is to increase road prevention spend on things like crack sealing, microsurfacing, and a shave and pave program. The data shows that by spending more on preventative maintenance, the city will save money over the long term. The engineering team was very helpful coming up with these programs and confirming the data to model them. The city should save about $500,000 per year implementing these programs. So on the photo on the left-hand side, you can see kind of what a microsurfacing might look like, and on the right is crack sealing.
Mr. Mayor, I just want to interject for a second. Riley, the idea of what you're trying to explain here by making this investment is to extend the life of these assets, which is where the savings comes in. I just wanted to clarify that. I heard you explain it, but the idea, if my recollection from our meetings, is to extend the asset life expectancy, which is why we're making this investment. Thanks.
Yeah, through your mayor to Councillor Quinte, that's exactly right. So before a road gets too deteriorated, while it's still in semi-good shape, we do some prevention, like seal the cracks and cover up the road.
Exactly.
To avoid the water, yeah. The second recommendation is reducing the target quality of our roads, which resulted in a slight reduction for arterial and surface treated roads and a more dramatic reduction for local roads. While we are lowering the target condition of our roads, the level of spending will still lead to an increase in road conditions compared to today. Road spend is by far the most significant area of spend for the city, and thus this is where the biggest savings were found. These reductions will save the city around $5 million per year. The third recommendation was to reduce the target quality for our outdoor parks and recreation assets. This includes playgrounds, sport fields, and trails. This service area was ranked the lowest priority as per the survey, and the working group looked here to make some cost reductions. By extending the lifespans of these assets by 20%, the city will save about $300,000 per year. These changes have brought the proposed asset management plan spend down to $41.6 million per year and led the infrastructure deficit to be reduced by $6 million down to $12.2 million per year. The working group thought that closing the infrastructure deficit by the end of the next term of council was a realistic goal, and that could be achieved by reducing the capital levy from the 4% proposed previously down to 3% for the next 4 years, before going down to 2% after. On the water and wastewater side, staff made sure that the water and wastewater rate study completed in October of last year included all of the requirements for this asset management plan, due date July 1st. Nothing has materially changed since the rate study, and staff recommends staying with the rates and the levels of service that we set late last year. Thank you, and yeah, if you have any questions, let us know.
Thank you. Anybody, question? Councilor Card.
Thank you, Your Worship. As much as I enjoy spending time with my fellow councilors, so it's not a particularly fun exercise. I know that we certainly talked a lot about this issue this term, and in my personal feelings, I've made the point a few times, I don't think that we can tax our way out of it, which is just to say that I think a balanced approach like this one, where it's an $18.2 million deficit, it's being filled by about 1/3 in service or target condition cuts and about 2/3 via capital levy. I think it closes the gap completely within a reasonable amount of time through the end of the next term of council, presumably, if variables stay stable and the 3% is kept to. I think given the situation, I think that it's a reasonable and balanced approach and will allow us to more quickly get back to, I think, something us and the community hope for, which is kind of those more reasonable terminal tax raises each year that don't include a special levy for this, to close this deficit. I know so many municipalities are struggling with it. I think that this is a good approach for us, and we'll deal with the issue, and then we can start having discussions. The beauty of it is, at some future council can start talking about, increasing funding to roads and starting to even raise the quality and level of this with some sort of levy and not be kind of trying to backfill the deficit. So just my 2 cents.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Thanks, Riley. The meetings were very exciting, to say the least. Councillor Card said it wasn't that particularly a pleasurable experience because we kept bumping heads on how much money and where the money was going to come from. And to the members of the public, this report is only 295 pages on today's agenda. If you wanted to pull it up and read through it, be my guest. And certainly the weight of these decisions, you could certainly feel it after, I personally certainly could feel it after our discussions. We have a lot of great things in our community, and I really want to see a city that keeps its assets in order and in good repair. And so I'm going to support today's motion, kind of reluctantly, because I wanted to be a little more aggressive on getting it looked after, but it is what it is. So I will support today's motion before council in regards to the 3% capital levy. Anyways, thanks, Riley.
Okay.
Thanks, Zach.
Okay, Councillor Boyce.
Thank you, and not necessarily a question, but more of a statement. And I know A couple of years ago, I was fortunate to go on it was like a workshop information thing, and I know Councillor O'Neill was there, and they talked about infrastructure, and I know when we think of the importance of infrastructure, we always think of roads, sewers, but equally important, in my opinion, for a community in terms of health and wellness and et cetera, is the recreational infrastructure. And I see that you spoke about Hannah Park and being delayed to 2027, and so just a word of caution. I think we all around the table need to be aware that recreational infrastructure, although it's low-hanging fruit to many, because it's easy to look at a park and say, okay, that's a park, but when we see a sewer infrastructure, we don't necessarily understand the importance. But the recreational infrastructure needs to be almost as important, or as important as roads and things, and so I want us to keep that in mind when we look at our standards and things. And it's just a word of caution, I think, for a community that wants to develop a health and wellness, and we often overlook that the trails and tennis courts and basketball courts help us with our wellness and keep us out of those hospitals and things. And so the savings is I think significant. So,
Thank you. Councillor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was such a pleasure working on this committee or working group with the team, but seriously, there was a lot of reports and data that back up a lot of the difficult decisions that came through staff for these recommendations. A lot of reports on conditions and wastewater and roads, and there is a lot of work that's been done by staff, and it was all of these reports through the 4 meetings, I believe, were put in, I guess, segments, because it was, a lot of information. And when this started, as part of the legislation we were given to do this plan, was public input. I believe we had to reach out with our asset management plan and get public input, and that was helpful. And like the committee, we were, these are the priorities, all that, but we really looked to the data. That's what really helped us get through it. And I certainly understand from Parks and Recreation, because that's, much my favorite thing, more than wastewater and wastewater. But we had to look at the data to bring this forward. And it's, as Councillor Card said, it's got a balance here, because we can't go all, as far as we need to, given the impact on the tax base, that budget. And again, at budget time, these recommendations will come before, but the budget could change. So those final decisions come at budget time, but this is the best recommendation we bring to council, but I just want to acknowledge all the work of finance and all the directors who are part of this, all of you and the managers, because anyway, I just wanted you to know that we worked hard. We didn't agree all the time, so as Councillor Quinte will attest, but we certainly are collective in the recommendation with staff, so I just wanted to say that. And I believe Councillor Stedall is not with us on this meeting, but she was a member of the committee as well.
Councillor Card.
Thank you, Your Worship. I did want to say again quickly to echo Councillor Sharp that the Asset Management Group did a tremendous amount of work bringing all of the data together, and made a very interesting slide tool that actually I suggested I hope at some future point in time could be available for public use, because it's very informative, certainly, on conditions versus kind of direct costs and what that looks like in terms of a capital levy at the end of the year, and very informative. But I think about on the timeline back when the province mandated these plans, and the struggle that council would have had, without these reams of data to analyze and to have this feedback. It would be very difficult to make effective decisions, I feel like, without all the data. So yeah, I did want to also thank you for all of the work that you put in collecting this and the work you continue to do, because it lets us make, I think, informed and good productive decisions as a council.
Thank you. Come this way. Anybody else? Okay, well, Riley, before you leave, I don't very often get you here, do I? Right? So, what would you like to tell us about Riley Walters? Where's his mother work?
Oh, she works right here in the library.
Yes, she works right here in the library. And what's Dad do?
He works at a machine shop in Trenton. Yeah.
What's it called?
HAI Precision.
HAI.
Water Jets. Yeah.
What is it? Precision cutting?
Yeah, water jets. Yeah.
Yeah. And where do you live?
Battawa.
Battawa. And Mom and Dad live on
Stockdale Road. just down the
Stockdale
street,
Road. Yeah. So you see, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
Pretty close, eh?
Yeah, very close.
Yeah, yeah. And because you're, you live in Quinte West, your family lives in Quinte West, so it's very important to you that what we do is based on good information.
Absolutely.
Yes, it is. So, and thank you to your team. And as you and I know, that nobody loves you like your mother. Yeah,
Very true.
that's true. Yeah. Okay. Yes, and that's still true. That's still true. Thank you very much, and thanks to your team, and thanks for working with council members to get this together, because this is very important for us as this city moves forward. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before I'm into delegations, but I don't know that we have any, but I want to just take a minute and thank Four Walls for the artwork that's been put up. And I would ask any of you to make a comment about the artwork. Wow, wow, just fantastic.
Yeah, I
Councillor
will.
O'Neill. I'll take Councillor O'Neill first. Thank you.
Thank you. And they also have a celebration Friday night at these Four Walls. If anyone would like to go, it's supposed to be really good.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Kunze.
Yeah, walking into the lobby, it's glowing. It's so bright and so
Yeah.
beautiful. I wanted to stand there longer, but apparently I had to come to some meeting.
Well, you're right there. Yes, we all have the same feeling. Yes, it is. Great artwork. Anybody know any more about it, other than it's done by Director Grimman, or who knows more?
Well, Director Grimman can add something if she'd like.
Thank you, through Mr. Mayor, to council. Yes, we've got a feature of the artwork that's part of the Kids Inclusion Art Show that is being coordinated by these Four Walls. The city is certainly a partner, a sponsor as part of that initiative. The show last year featured the artwork of 470 young artists, from across Quinte West. This year, there's over 2,000 pieces of artwork from Quinte West students that have participated from the various school boards across the city. There is a self-guided tour that is being launched this Friday, as mentioned, that can be found at thesefourwalls.com. One of the feature sites here is City Hall. We've got over 500 pieces of the artwork on display here. As part of that tour, it will be taking place from June 6th to the 30th for public viewing. And there's no cost to attend that, although they are soliciting for donations.
Oops, yes, I'm on. Anyone else with respect to the artwork? Anyone else? Councillor Carn.
Thank you, Your Worship. There's also I believe, a map on these Four Walls website if you want to visit the different locations of the artwork. And I was here last night, helped Brandy briefly. I had some time, and she has a whole team of volunteers. They worked really hard at every step getting them up, and it's growing so much. 5 times more kids participated this year. It just keeps growing. It's just a great community initiative. It's awesome to see it, and the city supporting it through sponsorship and putting up the art as well.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, anyone else? Yeah, just, I know you use the words kids, but I'd certainly use children, but that's me. Just, yeah, I know they're all. Listen, I'm very privileged because my office looks out over the parking lot, and I see mums and so on, children coming into the library on a regular basis, and it is delightful to see them. Mums, even grandmas come in too, Gail. So it's, yeah, and the children come in sometimes carrying books, but they go out with books, and most often really enjoy our library and enjoy the programs that the library and the people offer to them. So it's a real plus, a real plus. Thank you very much. I think, and I haven't heard anybody, and I did happen to run into a woman who came out with two books, two very thick books, and I'm not mentioning any names, but she was really pleased, and she said that her daughter comes with her and spend a great deal of time here. So thanks to all the people who come and enjoy it, and I hope they come to see the artwork. Okay. All right, anyone for public input? Okay, that's good. Okay, the next is staff report by Chris Angelo, Interim Chief Administrative Officer, regarding commemorative crosswalks be received. I'm going to ask you to, I'll get a mover and a seconder for this motion. Councillor Kuzi, Councillor McHugh. Okay, make any comments or questions you want to make. Go ahead, tell me. CEO Angelo, you want to make a comment? Go ahead.
Thank you, Worship. Many of you will recall that during budget deliberations, we had discussed commemorative crosswalks in our municipality, and we had similar conversation in 2024 with regard to our Remembrance Day sidewalk or crosswalk that was placed in the city of Belleville, which really then sparked some conversations with council and staff about looking at that option in Quinte West. So since that time, staff have investigated certain themes for commemorative crosswalks for Remembrance Day, and the Legion at the national level have come up with the example on page 2 in your report with this maple leaf that honors the service of all who stood guard for Canada, and it's supported by Canadian Heritage for Community Use. So I've reached out to both presidents of the Frankfurt Legion and the Trenton Legion, and both presidents and their teams are fully supportive of these crosswalks being installed within our municipality. And with that in mind, I'd be happy to recommend that we install both of these, one in Frankfurt crossing King Drive at Mill Street, and one at the interlocking brick that connects Fraser Park Drive to Quinte Street. I'm hopeful that we can get the one done in Trenton as soon as the construction of the sanitary sewer is completed in that area for this fall.
Thank you. Okay, move it for this, Councillor Reid. You like to move that?
It's already moved.
Oh,
I think it's already moved, but I do think that, if I might speak, that the design that has been presented to us, I really like that it has been provided by the Legion at the national level for community use. I know it's near and dear to both Legions in Frankfurt and in Trenton that a commemorative crosswalk be placed. I think the locations that CAO Angelo has chosen are perfect, and I think, if I might not be mistaken, but I think that both Legions are very happy with the locations that have been chosen as well. So I'm very, very much in support of this. Thank you.
This way, any other comments? Okay, all in favor? Thank you, carried. Next one is, again, this one I need a mover and a seconder for this one. Councillor Boyce, Councillor Sharp. Staff report by Chris Angelo, Interim CAO, regarding hazardous waste program services be received, and that council authorizes the execution of a cost-sharing agreement for the operation of hazardous waste depot with partnering municipalities effective January 1, 26 to June 30th, 27, and that council approve the use of the GFL Environmental Services Incorporated at a cost of $9,762 plus HST per HHB mobile event as outlined in the agreement. So any comments or questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So Acting Director Angelo, the mobile events, there's 5 a year, I believe, in Quinte West?
Through your worship, that is correct, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, just to follow up on that.
Go ahead.
I
Go ahead,
believe
Councilor.
the next one is this coming Saturday,
Right.
June, at the Pelham Street address. So
Okay.
if people have hazardous waste, you can take it there.
CEO, acting CEO, any comments further, or are you?
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. But just for really the public's information, one of the things that we recognize as we change or transition to full producer responsibility for recycling, our council had chosen that we're going to continue with the same level of services for non-eligible recycling services as well as household hazardous waste. So with that in mind, because Belleville owns the depot at 75 Walbridge Crescent in Belleville, it made sense for them to put out a collaborative RFP for household hazardous waste services. And with that in mind, there is one bidder providing that submitted a tender, and our share of that cost is like 12.8%. And at the end of the day, in the financial section of my report, we're really, at the end of the day, going to save about $1.2 million going forward on by reducing that recycling cost that's being picked up by the producers throughout Ontario. And I think this is a great collaboration between the 9-member municipalities moving forward, with Belleville leading it at this point in time until we get to a point in July of 2027 where our contract for garbage and organics is up for renewal. At that time, we'll look at options for including the non-eligible recycling as well as household hazardous waste. In addition, I'll note that the province is switching to a producer model for household hazardous waste, so we're hopeful in the future that that cost of household hazardous waste will be picked up by the producers of things like paint cans and batteries, et cetera. But we won't know that until that legislation's finally passed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Acting CEO Angelo. Right now, Quinte West residents can bring, if they have a lot of recycling, to the plant on West Street. Will there be any spot in Quinte West if they have a lot they can bring, or will they have to take it all to Belleville now?
Through your worship, we're currently looking, I'm in discussions with 2 local service providers about having a depot here in Quinte West for that.
Thank you.
All in favor? Thank you. Carried. Okay. Next one is the mover. I need a mover and a seconder for this one. No, I guess. Oh, I think I'm done now. Okay, the next is corporate services resolution. I need a mover and a seconder for this one. Get one. Councilor Reid, second by Councilor O'Neill. I'm sorry, Councilor McHugh. Sorry, I changed your location there. Resolution Staff Report QW 2025-00048 by Sarah Pond, Legislative Services Coordinator regarding community safety and well-being. Advisory Committee matters for council consideration and approval be received. So I need that. I got a mover and a seconder for that. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Thank you. Carried. Next one is staff report by Rebecca Cotter, Manager of Communities and Community Engagement regarding 2025 Quinte West Community Safety Wellbeing Report be received, and further that council approve executing an agreement with Loyalist Center for Healthy Communities for services related to the development and implementation of a Quinte West Pulse Check resource. Moved by Councilor McHugh, second by Councilor Cart. Comments or questions? Councilor Quinte.
Just for members of the public, they can find this report on page 48 of tonight's agenda, and happy reading.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Next one, I need a mover and a seconder for the staff report 2025-0089 by Matt Hodge, Manager of Finance, Deputy Treasurer regarding development charge, Bill 17 updates and exemptions be received. Got a Councilor Elliott move. I need a seconder. Councilor McHugh, any questions or comments? All in favor? Thank you. Carried. And the next one is a staff report, QW 2025-00086 by Riley Walters, Manager of Data and Asset Management regarding 2025 asset management plans. Update, proposed levels of services be received. And I'm not going to read them all. Councilor Sharp moved, second by Councilor O'Neill. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Thank you. Carried.
Just,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, this will be coming back to our budget process in December. Thanks.
Afraid you're right. Yes, it will. Yes, it will. Maybe before that. Anyways, next resolution I have is that staff, pardon? This one here. Staff report by Robert Jackson, Manager of Engineering Services, Matt Tracy, Manager of Water and Wastewater Services regarding West End Trunk Sewer additional funds. Resolution that staff report by Robert, Manager of Engineering Services, and Matt Tracy, Manager of Water, Wastewater Services regarding West End Trunk Sewer additional funds be received, and the council add just a little bit, holy, $6,498,000 in additional funds to the existing project budget of $31,881,000 for a total project budget of $38,379. And that council approves the awarding of the provisional work from the original RFP to Jacobs Engineering Consulting for provisional contract administration and inspection services with pricing adjustments and scope changes which amount to approximately 1.23 million plus HST. Wow. Okay, need a mover and a seconder for this one.
I'll move it.
Thank you.
I have a question too.
I'll get back to you. I need a seconder. Councillor Boyce. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Cruz.
Is this where Director Denowden pulls a rabbit out of his hat?
I sure hope he does, and I
So-
just hope it's carrying money.
Is this the second time or the third time we've had to add funds to this particular project this year?
They all hurt. They all hurt. But, again, we have applied for funding for these projects, and unfortunately, I'll let CO Angelo speak to this.
Thank you, Your Worship. It might be good for Mr. Jackson and Mr. Tracy
Yeah,
just to
okay.
run through some of the information in the contained in the report. They'll explain to you in the financial section where some of the funds are going to be coming from. I can tell you at the outset, the majority of costs are development charges that are going to end paying for this project. But I'll let both of them just run through the report for you.
Okay, choose the course, guys.
Through your worship, to Councillor Kunce's point, yes, we have came back to council through the budgeting process and asked for additional funds. This project was started in 2022, and the scope of the project, the alignment, and that changed considerably through the environmental assessment and the design process. And as such, came back and added funds. Where we stand today, though, we have tendered the project with 6 bids. We feel we know now what the project's costs. The lower 3 bids were relatively close on a $30+ million project, and we're recommending moving forward. I'll let you go ahead, Rob, in terms of the evaluation.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So during the tendering period, we don't really know what the prices are going to be. We have our best estimates going into it based on recommendations from the consultant, and that's how the original budgets were established. It's really hard to estimate some of the complexities, and we saw that in the budgeting process or in the tendering process here. This project in particular has some very complex elements, such as sanitary pipe going in 10 meters deep. And so those elements are very difficult to predict ahead of time, even though we put our best numbers to it. We evaluated the bids, and through council, we discussed with the low bid, and the contractor has come back and confirmed his pricing. So we know that this is the number to date. This is what it is. If there's any other questions.
Any questions, anybody? We did apply for funding, correct? Acting CEO?
Your worship, not for this specific project. We've applied for other projects, but there wasn't a specific project related to this because a good portion of this, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Jackson or Mr. Denouden can confirm, over 80% of this is funded from development charges. And part of the cost for this as well, I shouldn't say that, part of this project is covered from some funding we received for the HEX funding we received for Second Delco Road for the creek crossing, as well as for Highway 2. So we did get a portion of that funding, yes.
Yeah, we didn't get any excessive amount, but we got some, yes. Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Furthering on CAO Angelo's comments, we did receive the HEX funding for this, and that funding doesn't cover the sanitary portion directly. It covers the road works that are impacted on Second Dug Hill Road. But every bit counts, and so that amount adds up to about $3.8 million that the province will be contributing for this. And then to further the comments from CAO Angelo, around, I believe, 70% of it is covered under development charges.
Okay. Councillor Boyce. Councillor Boyce.
Thank you, Your Worship. And I think it's important to note that growth pays for growth. And I mean, just under the comments and analysis, it says that the trunk sewer will provide sanitary capacity for an additional 5,000 residential units on the west side of Trenton. I think that's important as we grow our tax base. So I mean, it's a hard thing to swallow necessarily, but it's important, and as our CEO has stated, that a lot of it comes from development charges and things like this. So it's growth paying for growth.
Thank you. Go ahead, Matt. Thank you.
Through your worship, just, yeah, in addition to the 5,000 units, through the design process, we looked at a number of different options, and this is a deep sewer. It is all gravity, so it's going to reduce one pumping station at the Walmart site. We looked at options for additional pumping stations in lieu of the gravity sewer, and it's worth noting that those options, when you look at the life cycle of the asset, the long-term cost of hydro and ongoing maintenance, that this is the preferred solution.
Thank you. Councillor O'Neill, do you have a question?
I didn't, but when you go 30 feet down in the ground, you don't know what you're going to hit, and that would potentially affect your cost too, correct?
Big time.
Through you, Your Worship, to Councillor O'Neill, that's correct. It adds to the risk and variability with the bids and the risk factor, for sure.
And of course, when you're down that deep, just some municipality where lost one worker, and possibly another couple injured because they didn't have the steel box in place. So I don't know what our plan is, but I'm not doing it. But are we going to hire somebody? Will we have a project overseer on this?
Through your worship, that is correct, and we'll probably have one or two depending on the complexity. So there's a fair bit of rock that has to be removed. There's the complexity, as Mr. Jackson mentioned, about working in water. There's working in some contaminated areas that the contractor has to deal with. So there's lots of complex situations that will be having specialized project managers on this project.
Thank you. Anything else? Otherwise, all in favor? Thank you very much. I don't think we have any option, do we?
No, we don't.
I don't think so either. But I think it would be nice to send a letter off to our MPP, Mr. Alsop, and let him know that we're still holding out our hand. If there's any way that there's something we can tap into, we'd be much obliged to have any direction.
Well, I think, Your Worship, as well, when we have our, when we go to Ottawa this August, we'll be asking, and hopefully we'll get the delegation with the Minister of Infrastructure to ask about funding and increased funding for our municipality for a lot of these significant projects going forward.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, we will. We'll definitely be asking. All right, am I done that page? Okay. Okay, proclamation, submission received from Environmental Stewardship Advisory requesting council proclaim June 16 to 22nd, 2025 as Pollinary Week in the city of Quinte West. And I need a resolution that council proclaim June 16 to 22 as Pollinator Week in the city of Quinte West, and further that Quinte West sign and the Veteran Skyway Bridge be illuminated in the color yellow from June 16, 2025, pending no scheduling conflicts. Councillor McHugh moved, Councillor Katsova seconds. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Carried, thank you. Okay. I think I got no notices of motion. So, bylaws be read. I need a mover and a second for bylaws be read first, second, and third time. Then authorized. Councillor Allier, Councillor Sharp. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Thank you. Oh, sorry, Zach, go ahead. Questions?
Printed information.
Yeah.
Under printed information.
Did I? Okay. All right, all in favor? That's what I need. Thank you. Carried. Okay. Haven't got to it yet. Did I skip it? No. Yeah, I must have. Well, have it.
I'll make the motion for printed information, Your Worship.
Go ahead. Thank you. Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Card. I've missed a page or two. All right. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Just wanted to comment on that printed information. There's, Mr. Denowden is including in our report about how our tax levies are going to be divvied up for the 25 years. So I just thought, make mention of that when you get your tax bill. If you want to look it up, it's how we came to it. It's in tonight's report.
Thank you. Any reference you want to make, Director Denowden, or are you good?
Yes, through your worship, just referencing the tax rate bylaws, which are in the bylaws there, and yeah, tax bills will be going out at the end of this month for the final tax bills of the year.
Okay, and and most of these families that I know are all related. Are you related to Walters or no?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Okay, well, I just thought if you are, you better make sure you're right too. Councillor Katsoulis.
I know the city's pushing this initiative, and with the current mail strike, it's another good reason to sign up for paperless billing and getting your tax bills and everything else from your email. Thank you.
You're right. Councillor O'Deal.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And yes, the city did put out a good information bulletin on paperless billing, which I thought was great. Also in printed information are the library financial statements. They budgeted for $114,000 surplus, and they got $150,000 loss. But that was discussed at the finance meeting. They didn't include depreciation of about $300,000, which you don't budget for, and they didn't include any budgeting for donations. So it's explained basically from those two items.
Good.
If people are wondering why there's such a variation.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. That's good. Okay.
Vote, do we, on the printed?
Pardon?
Need a vote on the printed and
Yeah,
non-printed?
I need a vote on the, all in favor of the printed, I guess, and I really enjoy the non-printed. Okay.
That's at the beginning of the meeting, sir, you presented me with my new uniform.
Yeah.
That's the non-printed
Is
information.
that the non, okay. Well, I'm glad we covered it then, eh?
Thank you very much.
We're
It was
smarter than we thought, aren't we?
Very kind of you.
Notice of the motion.
Okay, any notice of motion? Great, thank you. Any other new business? Anything I know one thing I forgot, and this is interesting because I happened to be out to a gala just not too long ago, and there was a young guy there, and I had him in school many years ago, and back then he didn't like work, but he's got a job at HAI cutting, and he said he wished he'd met the fellow that owns that business years ago because he really enjoys working there. So that was good. I was glad to hear it, and on top of that, he's working. That was great because, anyways, I've said enough. That's good. There's always something good that you can learn when you're out, even when you're.
Bylaws.
Okay, I've done the bylaws.
Confirmation.
Just need two for confirmation and 2 for adjournment. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Inspector, before we leave, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
25-minute speech.
Your worship, thank you for the introduction earlier in the closed session. Thank you for being so receptive to a new detachment commander here. I know Christina Reeve was here for several years, so it'll be a little bit of a change having myself in, but she's mentored me very well, so I look forward to every opportunity I have to be at the council meetings and the detachment board meetings going forward, so thank you.
Thank you. And I also want to thank Director Coxwell, because the people that we're hiring in this city, it just from my point of view, is fantastic. I'm not saying we don't have fantastic people here. We do, and I think that's why. But I really want to thank you and your team for doing obviously the research and so on. And I appreciate the conclusions. So thank you very much. Thank you. And I think we need to take a break because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. We don't want to mess up a good night. And Edmonton's going to win tonight. Thank you.